Hello, and welcome back to another Minecraft Let's Play video with me, Elven Dragon, here on Shamblecraft Season 2. So last episode we went and built up a nice big wall for our tree farm, as well as this little office space here that I'm currently sitting in. So since the last episode, not much has changed either in this room. I still haven't figured out if I want to put any more decorations in here, nor have I gotten any more of the walls in. They need quite a bit of materials, and I just haven't gotten a lot more of them quite yet. But we aren't going to be getting into that today. Today, I think we're going to be working on a bit of a farm for the last dye that we're missing, which is lime, which means we get to build a sea pickle farm. So I'm going to go gather up a few of the materials that we have laying about for that. I have a little bit of coral left over from building the enchanting room, so that will go quite nicely. So I'm going to go grab that as well as the rest of the stuff that I need, and then I will be right back. So now with everything that we're going to need gathered, we now just need to figure out a spot for it. And I'm thinking that this tunnel that goes to the garden, this tunnel here apparently because I kind of accidentally dug into it, the enchanting room, and this little cave up here that is right above and somewhat behind it. And I'm thinking it's in this space that we'll stick the sea pickle farm. Now for that, we just need to dig down a couple blocks. These things should be very simple. Do 3x4, and I completely forgot a bucket. But we'll basically just put in some corals, put some sea pickles in, have a dispenser bone meal them, and some pistons to break them. So I'm gonna go gather up all of those materials, and then I will be right back. Alright, so now with water and everything else I think in hand, we can now start building this. So this is a design that is based off of one by Liara, which should work on Java, but I don't actually know. So we are going to find out. So with the coral in, we just need to grab a little bit of water so we can use that later in the farm. And then we just need to knock out a little bit of space on either side. That way we can actually put in the pistons, which are just gonna go along here like so. And then we need that to be filled in there. We need a dispenser here. Sea pickle will go there. And we need to figure out what we're actually gonna build this farm out of. I think stone brick should work. We aren't really going for super pretty. This just has to work for now. Now I'm thinking we can probably get away with using a barrel here and 3 hoppers there. We can probably actually have signs going down, or rather up, to block the water and allow everything to just be collective right here. Alright, so now there is a couple things I need to test. Namely, that if we put some redstone along here, if that will trigger not just the dispensers, but also the pistons. If any of it, actually. Because I have no clue how any of this redstone works. Okay. That works. Let's put those in there. Okay, so that does not trigger the dispenser, but it will trigger the pistons. So we're getting a little bit of weird behavior. It seems to work the first time that we trigger the lever, but not any time after that, which is kind of strange. You'd think that if it triggered the dispenser the first time, it would trigger it the second time too, because nothing's changed. So I don't know what's going on there. I have to do a little bit of fiddling. So I'm gonna work on that, and then I will be right back. Alright, so moving the farm 1 block over seems to have gotten the dispenser to be working. So what I think we're gonna do is we're going to use a farm that or at least a clock that is one of my favorites. Namely, this one, which apparently does not work. My guess because of quasi-connectivity. But just to be sure that there's not something weird going on with that redstone dust that we need to power there. Let's just try and build this slightly farther back. So we just need sticky piston, redstone block, dust. Yeah, that should not be powered still, and I don't know why it is. So we can't use that. So we will have to experiment and figure out how we are going to power this thing, because clearly that clock does not work. Alright, so I think that, well, that seems to be working just fine. So apparently all I really had to do was just flip the entire clock on its side, and we'll break that because that is incredibly loud and noisy, and we'll replace it with the blocks that we need to mark out that this is where we're building this, so I don't accidentally break these later. So we're not going to complete that because that is incredibly noisy, but I think that that is the clock sorted out. So now we just need to make an off switch for it, which will have to go up and not through here because that's the garden. Alright, we just need to build this on the other side. So I'm going to go get that all hooked up, and then I will be right back. Alright, so now when we turn the lever off, we have nothing happen because we didn't finish the circuit. So that should be good. That is turning the farm on so that ticks. Then we turn that off, and I don't know if having those pistons there is going to be a problem. So I think I may have to invert the signal somehow. Maybe it's fine. Oh, I think I'm going to mess around with it and see what I can figure out. Okay, so a little bit of testing later, and maybe I'm just making a fuss about nothing. So let's try this. If this works, we should start getting sea pickles. We're getting some. So clearly this is in fact working, and now if we turn it off, looks like the rest of them all get brought in. So maybe I was just making a fuss about nothing and I wasn't quite thinking. So I'd say that after all of that, this farm is a success. We now have a steady supply of sea pickles that we can use, and that'll be great. That gets Vin a source of lime dye easily. Not that the cactus farm and skeleton spawner were having any difficulties producing green and white, but this way we just have a direct source of lime, and also a source of sea pickles for me to do terraforming with. So with the pickle farm now done, I think it's about time that we move on to something else. Now there's still a couple more things I could do around here. I could simplify the redstone in the back. I could add some stone bricks or something underneath the pistons, because I just realized that we can see them. So it'll probably bug me enough later that I will have to go and change them. But for now, I think I'm going to leave those. But with this done, it's time to move on to the next project. And what I think we're going to do for that, we are going to do something with the fact that down this hallway, pretty much behind every one of these paintings, is a hidden room. So we've got the cat room, we've got the route down to the geodes, we've got the other route down to some geodes. We have the TBH studio, which is not covered by a painting for some reason. And we have this path behind here that leads to the enchanting room, which we probably need to decorate at some point, like pretty much all the paths off to the enchanting room. But we have this painting right here that used to be in front of the garden, but got moved when the garden entrance got put in. And I think what we're going to do is we are going to stick something behind here. Now I've already got a small space dug out, and we don't have that much room to work with, because right on the other side of... oh. That is the tunnel to the enchanting room. So we may just have to make this layer here the ceiling, which is not too bad. We can dig out the floor a little bit. But I think that I am going to... Oh, there is the actual fish tank. We can't make this the ceiling. We're going to have to figure out something with this. Guess we are digging down a couple blocks. Oh well. But I think that I am going to figure out how we can stick this in, because there is apparently less room in here than I thought there was. And then I will be right back. Alright, so we have the entire room dug out, and I have a little bit of stuff marked out for where I want to put it, because we do not have very much space in here. We have Vin's Pottery Studio up here on the wall. We've got Space's Dorado room on the back. We've got the enchanting room above us, and we have the drop chute down to my lab from the garden on the other side. So with that in mind, we need to figure out what we're doing, and I kind of want to block all these sides off with the walls. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to use snow, because it provides a very nice white block and is also very, very easy for us to get. And I think that that will look quite nice with some quartz pillars as detail, because the quartz is just off enough from the snow that it'll stand out, and the pillar texture should fit quite nicely for a bit of detail. But for now, while I try and figure out what I want to do for the table, I think we're just going to get the snow in. And I think on this wall here, apparently I need more snow. But I think on the one wall we're going to put a little kind of TV screen, so we can put some stuff on there for during meetings. I still need to figure out how I want to do the chairs and the top of the table. I do kind of like the spruce fences as the legs. But this should give us just enough space to have everyone in here and just have a little bit more room. It's going to be very close quarters, but I think that it should work quite nicely. So I'm going to go gather up a few more of the materials and see what I can do, and then I will be right back. Alright, so a little bit of work later and quite a bit of distraction from Space, and we have the entire room in. So Space went and worked on the ceiling and got most of the rest of the columns in. We have this area right here, which we can use at some point as a screen, and we all have our own chairs. This one is mine. I was initially thinking dark oak trapdoors, but those got changed for spruce, and I quite like how this turned out. The floor is a little obnoxious, but that kind of fits with our base. But with that, I think all that remains is to just call the rest of the group for a meeting. But while we wait for that to happen, I think we're going to go outside a bit and do a little bit of terraforming. I don't remember all this being here. Valley lives here now, it's my house. Oh dear. Property of Norway, not Canada. What did Space do? Well, this is a lot. Okay, we clearly need to do something about this. I think that meeting needs to happen a little sooner rather than later. So we're just going to ignore that for now. So I guess thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and consider subscribing. And I'll catch you all in the next one. Bye!